So after understanding the background behind the idea about reproduction as a life process, why it is significant and necessary. Okay, we have seen the differences between the sexual and asexual mode of reproduction. Now we'll see the different types. Okay, is the screen visible well?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so let us begin with the simplest type of methods and then we will progress to the complicated ones, right? So the first part that we are going to see is asexual reproduction in the case of unicellular organisms. What do you mean by unicellular organisms?
Organisms which have only one cell.
Yes, those organisms whose entire body is made up of just one cell, which takes care of all the functions. Okay, can you give examples?
Amoeba,
Everybody's
Paramecium.
favorite. Amoeba, paramecium. Yes, amoeba favorite है ना सबका? आंख बंद करके डायग्राम बना सकते हैं, right? Okay, so see the types under this. The first method is called, it's actually called fission, under which there are two types. Okay, so when we are using the word fission, the simple meaning of the word fission is breaking. Okay, you know how an amoeba looks. So one amoeba, okay, which we call as the parent amoeba, which will simply break into two. That's called binary fission. That's why I said the beginning we will start with the most simplest method. Okay, so there is one parental amoeba. Okay, you can draw any shape that you want, right? In that amoeba, there is one nucleus. It's a unicellular one. So first what happens is, inside the parent amoeba, the nucleus will divide into two. And what was the name given to the division of the nucleus, if you remember? Nucleus ka division, there is a process. What is the name given to that? Recollect cell division. Something with K.
Karyokinesis.
Correct. It is karyokinesis. You remember that? है ना,
Yes.
सेल डिवीजन में दो स्टेप दिखाए थे ना, karyokinesis followed by cytokinesis. Okay, so here the nucleus will first divide into two, and then as you can see, the amoeba simply divides into two. It is similar to mitotic division, but not exactly mitosis, because this is a complete division that is going on in a unicellular organism as such. Okay, and the cytoplasm will further divide, that is called cytokinesis. So that separates into two daughter cells. So amoeba के daughter cells amoebulae ऐसा बोलते हैं. They are two daughter cells of the amoeba. But here, can you notice one thing? Though it is reproduction, that one amoeba is dividing into two, but see, when the daughter cells are produced, where is the parent? It's gone. Normally during reproduction, a parent gives birth to young ones. That means the parent also remains. But here in this type of reproduction, the parental cell does not remain. It itself is dividing into two. Okay, that is binary fission, which is found in amoeba and some other organisms also. You can find this in Euglena, Paramecium. Okay, some of the bacteria, they undergo binary fission. Okay, there is one more type of fission which is called multiple fission. The method of reproduction is called fission. One is binary, other one is multiple. Again, the amoeba is the example for this one. So here now what is happening in multiple fission? There is one amoeba. Okay, that one amoeba will first develop a protective covering around itself, which is known as a cyst. Okay, the amoeba will develop a protective coating or a covering around itself, which is called as a cyst. That's a parent amoeba. Inside the cyst, that amoeba cell will divide and produce many daughter amoeba cells. That's why the word is multiple. Okay, in the previous one, it was binary. When you use the word bi, it indicates
Two.
two. So you have seen one parent cell giving birth to two daughter cells. But here it is multiple. Multiple means one amoeba giving birth to many small amoebulae, many daughter cells. But here, as you can see, the daughter cells which are produced are very tiny as compared to the parental cells. Okay, so inside the cyst itself, now the cyst does not expand. The daughter amoebulae are very tiny. They will be produced over there, after which the cyst will break and the amoebulae will be released. Okay, so here also the parental cell does not remain. It is broken into many amoebulae. In both the cases, that's a common point. But then amoeba undergoes both the methods. So how does the amoeba decide when it has to do binary fission and when it has to do multiple fission? It depends upon the environmental conditions. Okay, where does an amoeba live? Where do you find amoeba? Yes, Harsha? Yes, where do you find amoeba? Have you seen an amoeba anywhere? Can you see amoeba with a naked eye?
No.
They are unicellular one, right? So that means you need a microscope to observe. So they are very tiny ones. So you will find them in water bodies. Okay, mostly in fresh water bodies you will find them. Stagnant water bodies. Okay, now what happens is, because it lives in water, there might be a situation when the amoeba is having all the favorable resources around. Good amount of water, proper temperature, food material. Amoeba is a living organism, so that also requires food to eat. So amoeba must be getting good amount of food to eat. So उसको बोलते हैं, इन सबको बोलते हैं favorable conditions. There is no threat to the survival of the amoeba. So when such situation is existing, amoeba will undergo binary fission. Because one parent giving rise to two daughter cells, but because the conditions are favorable, there is a high chance that both the daughter cells will survive. Okay, but sometimes the environmental conditions can be in danger. That means कभी एकदम गर्मी बहुत हो गया, पानी सूख गया, amount of water is very less, temperatures are excessively high. Okay, or that might be because of human beings, we are doing a lot of chemical pollution in the water. So there is a load of chemicals in the water. Okay, other harmful microorganisms in the water which are causing a threat to the survival of amoeba. So amoeba is not able to survive well because of all these factors. उनको बोलते हैं unfavorable conditions. Under such situation, amoeba will undergo multiple fission. Because in that, there are many amoebulae produced. So what happens because of that? Because of the unfavorable condition, even if some of them will not survive, will die, there will be some that will remain and will propagate further. So in both the cases, nature is ensuring that the species of amoeba will remain and it will propagate. Understanding the smartness behind this? Nature ka plan.
Yes. Yes.
Getting it? That is binary fission and multiple fission. Okay. Then the next example is a process called budding. We are talking about unicellular organism. So amoeba, paramecium का हमने देख लिया. Now this is yeast. You know yeast? Where it is used?
Bread. Bakery.
Correct. Bread. Yes, yes. है ना, confectionery में बोलते हैं. Bread and इसमें baking में use करते हैं. Okay, so that yeast which is there, उसको baker's yeast भी बोलते हैं. It is called Saccharomyces cerevisiae. We will study the microorganisms part, to that time we will see. So there it undergoes something called budding. So now what is that budding? This is how yeast appears under the microscope. Okay, they are individual, simple, spherical to oval shaped cells. So in that yeast, now what happens is, if this is one cell of the yeast, on that yeast, there will be a small outgrowth called bud. Okay, there is a small outgrowth you can see here. Isko bolte hai bud, small one. That bud will grow. And when it will grow, you can see on that yeast, there are many other yeast cells which have developed. Simple method. So sometimes there can be not just one bud, there can be a chain of buds. The one yeast cell is having many other buds on. All of them are becoming yeast. And once they grow and develop, each one of them will separate and will live as separate yeast cells. Simple. Okay, so the outgrowths which are given out of these cells, unko bolte hai buds. That's why the process is known as budding. So here, between this fission and budding, the main difference that you saw was that here in budding, the parental cell remains as it is. And on that parental cell, there are new cells which are produced, which are called the buds. Understood the difference properly?
Yes.
So budding in yeast is an example of asexual reproduction in unicellular organisms. Okay, these three methods we have seen for now. Let's continue. Okay. Now, let us take a look at the examples of asexual reproduction in multicellular organisms. Okay, that is also very important, right? So from the simplest one we have started, we have seen fission and budding. Now in case of multicellular, okay, there is another example of asexual reproduction in multicellular, which is called budding as the same name. But this one, the example is different because the earlier one was unicellular. This is a multicellular one. You know what is Hydra?
No.
Hydra suna hai kabhi? Nahin? We'll see that in animal classification. Okay, it is one of the aquatic animals, a small one, but not a unicellular one. It's a multicellular one. So Hydra may be budding. This is how the Hydra looks. It looks like a very small plant, an umbrella shape, and you can see these hair-like structures. Usko tentacles bolte. So Hydra has these small tentacles. Okay, they are multicellular ones. So what happens is, you can see here on the Hydra, on the body of the Hydra, you can see this small tiny outgrowth coming out. This one.
Yes.
Okay, that is the tiny young Hydra which is developing from the parental Hydra. So it will just simply grow on the parental Hydra, and then it will get separated as the new organism. Okay, so the process ultimately remains the same. In the yeast also we saw something similar. Okay, there is a unicellular one cell on which there is a tiny bud. Here also there is a multicellular parental body on which you are seeing a small bud or an outgrowth. And then it is getting separated. That's the Hydra. Process remains the same. But we are categorizing it under two headings because that was unicellular. This is multicellular. And remember, Hydra is an animal. It looks like a plant, but it is an animal. This example will come again when we will discuss about animal classification. Okay, it is one of the primitive groups of animals called as Cnidaria. Hydra belongs to that. Okay, for now, just remember the method of reproduction. So there can be probable questions they can ask in the exam that Hydra reproduces by dash method. The answer would be
Budding method.
budding. You have to be giving a specific answer. Okay, don't say asexual method. though it is correct, but you have to be specific. Budding is the more appropriate answer. Okay. Next example. Just I'll be starting with one of the slides we have seen. Many of the fungi, they reproduce by forming spores. Correct? You know what are fungi?
Yes.
What are they?
Bacteria.
No. Fungi are not bacteria, totally different. Bacteria are all unicellular ones. Okay. Fungi, they are multicellular and they are commonly called as decomposers. Getting it? Okay. It's like in the biological world, there are 5 main kingdoms of organisms. Okay, there are 5 kingdoms. I'll just make a note of that here. You can take it down. Yeah. 5 kingdoms. Okay. The first one is called Kingdom Monera. You don't have this in the syllabus, some extra information, but for your understanding what are fungi, I'm giving you this. Okay. The first one is called Kingdom Monera. Okay. Monera includes all the bacteria as examples. Okay. And these are bacteria, and there is something called cyanobacteria also. Okay. And these are all unicellular prokaryotes. Do you know what are prokaryotes? Prokaryotic, eukaryotic, have you heard about it? Yes? Or is it a new thing for you? Yes, prokaryote, eukaryote. Are you aware about that? Simply speaking, prokaryote means it's a primitive cell which has been first formed during evolution. Usko prokaryote bolte hain. The word pro stands for primitive, karyon means nucleus. Okay, so the nucleus inside the cell is very primitive. It does not have a proper membrane around it. That's the meaning of prokaryotic. So this is the only kingdom in which all organisms which are prokaryotic will come under it. That is protista. All bacteria come under that. Okay. Second one is called kingdom. It is protista. Okay. So here you will get all the protozoans, diatoms, amoeba and all which you saw belongs to this one. Okay. You can say dinoflagellates. All these are examples. So they are again all unicellular, but they are eukaryotes. Eukaryotes means they are unicellular, but they are advanced. They have a proper nucleus in their cells, which the prokaryotes don't have. So you can say amoeba or paramecium is more advanced than a bacteria. Okay, advanced and primitive means from evolution point of view. कि जब अर्थ बना, लाइफ बना, तो सबसे पहले बैक्टीरिया, बाद में अमीबा. ठीक है. Then the third one over here is kingdom fungi. Here we come to the word fungi. Okay, so here they are ultimately multicellular decomposers. Getting it? Exceptions are there very few, like the yeast that you saw. They come under fungi, but which is a unicellular one. But almost all others are multicellular. Okay, all of you eat this. You eat this?
Yes.
Correct? On pizza, pasta, right? So what are you eating? They are mushrooms, they are fungi. And only mushrooms are the edible fungi. Otherwise, you cannot eat any fungi. Getting it? Okay. And many a times it must have happened, especially in this season, that the food which is prepared at home, the next day or something, you find that it is spoiled. खाना खराब हो जाते हैं, सब्जी बना दिया है ना, रोटी वगैरह बना दिया तो खराब हो जाते हैं. The main reason for that is fungi. Getting it? And fungi are the ones which are responsible for causing a lot of plant diseases also. Plants में बहुत बीमारी होती है. So fungi. Okay, and they all reproduced by spores. So it's a completely total kingdom altogether. They neither belong to plants nor animals. Because वो next दो kingdom है. Kingdom of Plantae. Okay, all the plants. So they are all multicellular producers. And no need to ask you the examples of plants. You can give lots of examples. So वो producers है because they have their own raw materials by which they can prepare their own food. And what is the name of the process?
Photosynthesis.
Correct. Photosynthesis. But very few species of, not very few, but there are some species of plants which are producers as well as consumers. Insectivorous plants. Are you aware about them?
Yes.
Correct. Venus flytrap, pitcher plant, sundew plant. They can catch insects and feed. So on one side, they are doing photosynthesis also. On the other side, they are feeding on insects also. Getting it? Okay. So Plantae.
Yes.
And the fifth one is kingdom Animalia. That's all the kingdom of animals that we know. So again, they are all multicellular consumers. They cannot prepare their own food. They depend upon others for their nutrition. Getting it? Okay, so we are talking about the types of reproduction in our organisms. So in the previous one, when we saw unicellular organisms, we were mostly discussing about Monera and Protista. Okay, now we are coming to slightly the higher groups. So here we are seeing the spore formation in fungi. Getting it? Now you understood what are fungi properly?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, that is very, very important to understand. Okay. So now let us take a look at how the fungi looks. See, when you observe a fungi under a microscope, it has got a thread-like body like this. एकदम ऐसे thread-like दिखी. A mass of thread. This mass of thread is known as hyphae. उसको बोलते हैं hyphae. Okay, sometimes the food gets spoiled. So on that you must have seen that white-colored cottony mass coming up. खाना खराब होता है तो उसके दिखाई देते हैं. तो वो hyphae है उसके. So some of the hyphae they will grow like this. Okay, so ऊपर उसका branching हो जाएगा. This hyphae, and on the top of that they will produce this bulbous structures. ऐसे bulb-like structures बनेंगे. Okay, उसको बोलते हैं sporangiophore. And on that sporangiophore, inside that there will be lot of spores which are produced. इसके अंदर बनेंगे बहुत सारे spores, many of them, thousands of them from each fungus. मतलब ये एक fungus है, इसमें there are thousands and thousands of spores produced. Once the spores are formed, they are mature. This sporangiophore will break. Sporangium बोलते हैं इसको. They will break. ये जो stalk है, that is called sporangiophore. This is called sporangium. It will break and it will release the spores in the air. All of them will land up somewhere or the other. So wherever they land, okay, the germination of the spores will require favorable conditions. There should be good amount of moisture, proper temperature, nutrients. If they are present in good amounts, these spores will germinate and more fungus will form. That's why you must have seen when you keep the food in a fridge, refrigerator, it doesn't get spoiled faster. Why? Why it doesn't get spoiled faster? Because low temperature inhibits the germination of the spores. Getting it? Even if you, certain food items, if you boil it or heat it, it won't get spoiled. Because at high temperature also spores cannot germinate. And if you notice that, this can be a question also, give reason. In the winter season especially, the food does not spoil faster. Or if you are in a cold place like a hill station or somewhere, the food does not get spoiled faster. Why? Because the temperature is less and the water amount, the humidity is also less. Moisture chahiye spores ko germinate karne ke liye. Because that is their method of reproduction. Getting it? Can you see the sporangium? See the spores also. This is under the microscope. Dhyan se dekho diagram. Thread-like structures, as I said, the word hyphae, on the top of which there are these bulb-like structures called sporangium, inside which the spores are produced. And you can see the transparent spores also, many of them. Getting it? See this. There is a fungus whose name is puffball fungus. That's the one which is the largest fungus and produces maximum number of spores. Puffball, giant puffball करके बोलते हैं. So it releases smoke-like structures like this. इसमें spores होते हैं. So they'll be released, and wherever they fall, imagine if all of them will germinate, so many fungi can form. Getting it? Understood spore formation, everybody?
Yes.
Okay, another method of asexual reproduction. Okay, the next method is called fragmentation. Okay, we are talking about asexual reproduction in multicellular organisms. So fragmentation is the next method now. Fragments, the literal English meaning of the word fragment is pieces. Small pieces. So this is again a very simple method of reproduction. Okay, fragmentation. That means the parent organism is broken into pieces. Each piece becomes a new organism. That is fragmentation. See this. This is a green alga called Spirogyra. It is found in aquatic conditions. Okay, एक alga है, एक plant है, and under the microscope it will look like this. Its name is Spirogyra. So you can see thread-like structures, many of them. Okay, so when they are broken into pieces, each piece becomes a new Spirogyra. That's called fragmentation. Understood this process properly? Okay, so yes? Okay.
Yes.
Now there is another method of asexual reproduction in multicellular organism, which is called vegetative propagation. This is applicable only for plants. Okay, see, normally in whenever reproduction takes place, we say that there are sex organs which are produced or reproductive organs which are produced. Okay, and then there are separate structures which are produced which carry out reproduction. But sometimes the regular plant body or its parts, they take part in the reproduction. So we call it vegetative propagation. So in plants, vegetative propagation takes place when propagation or reproduction takes place with the help of either roots or the stem or the leaves. Getting it? Normally in plants, root, stem, leaf do not take part in reproduction. But in some species, this is not applicable for all the plants again. Okay, in some species, whenever reproduction takes place by these three, we call it vegetative propagation. So you have to remember these examples. Okay, just say in the case of roots, what happens is either the stem or the root or the leaf in some species, whenever the conditions are favorable for the plants to do photosynthesis, if all are proper and the food material they prepare, they will translocate these food materials to some different part of a plant, mostly under the ground, and store it. So when the dry season will be there, like winter, when the amount of water will be less, food production will be a problem, this food material will remain stored under the ground. And after the winter season is over, in the next growing season, consider February onwards, like spring season, when conditions become more favorable again, that time from these organs which are stored under the ground, a new plant will start emerging. That is called vegetative propagation. So the principle behind that is something called adventitious buds. In these parts, there are adventitious buds present, which gives rise to new plants. Okay, so they are known by different names according to the part. You have to remember them with the respective examples, and there are scientific names of the plants also which are given. So like in the case of roots, you have sweet potato. You must have seen, eaten also. रताल है, अभी श्रावण का महीना शुरू हो गया है, करेक्ट? रताल खाते हैं, right? Sweet potato. So that is called Ipomea batatas. These are scientific names. Whatever is written in the bracket in italics, they are the scientific names. Okay. So root tuber example is sweet potato, which you find under the ground. You can see the swollen portion. That's why we eat it. Correct. Similarly, in the case of stem, there are many types. So you have a stem tuber example, potato, very commonly eaten, everyone. So next time, whenever you are eating anything made out of potato, what you are going to revise? It's a stem tuber, which is a vegetative method of propagation in plants. And potato ko bolna hai Solanum tuberosum. As much as possible, learn the scientific names. Similarly, rhizome in the case of turmeric and ginger, very common again. देखा रहेगा सबने, right? They are pieces. अदरक और मिलता है ना हल्दी. Okay, that pieces which you see, they are examples of rhizomes, and they are stem. Okay, then you have this is ginger and turmeric. Bulb में, you know, onions. फिर से very commonly eaten one. They are again found under the ground. So वो bulb है. Getting it? Allium cepa. And like onion, you also have garlic, again under the ground. And that is Allium sativum. So as you can see, onion and garlic, they are two different species, but they are very similar. Okay. Similarly, you have a stolon. Example is a plant called Marsilia. It's a marshy plant and it's a pteridophyte. Okay, recollect 9th standard classification of plants. You know what a pteridophyte are? Okay, so remember that. Example is Marsilia, which produces stolons. So stolon is also an underground stem, grows oblique, and at certain points, new plants are produced. The basic principle remains the same. There are adventitious buds from which you get new plants out of it. Okay, you know lawn grass. Lawn में जो अपना घास होता है, grass, durva. Okay, that is Cynodon dactylon. That one grows with the help of runners. That's why at any place, if you have a small patch of grass, the entire area gets covered by grass very fast. It spreads long stems called runners everywhere, and new grasses come out of it. Okay, same way in aquatic plant like water hyacinth, जैसे लैंड में रनर्स होते हैं तो पानी में ऑफसेट होते हैं, ऑफसेट. So for that the example is water hyacinth, also called Acornia crassicus. This is the plant. Okay, under the water it will produce those elongated roots, stem-like structures which are called offset. They will propagate, they will spread in all directions and give rise to new plants. This one grows as a very common weed in our country. Many of the water bodies are highly polluted and this is the plant which you will find in it. तो इसका प्रेजेंस इंडिकेट करेगा कि पानी बहुत पॉल्यूटेड है, बहुत गंदा है, इसलिए इसका दूसरा नाम है टेरर ऑफ बंगाल. Many of the water bodies are polluted with this plant over there. So these are all examples of different methods of vegetative propagation by stem. Same way, sometimes the leaves can also give rise to new plants. One of the very easy methods. This is a plant called Bryophyllum. पान फुटी करके बोलते हैं इसको, Bryophyllum को. You can grow it easily at home. नर्सरी से प्लांट लेकर आना, लगा दो, and if you want to propagate it, you just have to pluck a leaf, cut the leaf into small pieces, ensuring that the margin must be there when you're making a cut. From that margin, as you can see in this picture, you can see tiny plants coming out. So directly from the leaf margin, there is a new plant coming out. That's called as a leaf bud. So remember the name, Bryophyllum. Okay, these are all different methods of vegetative propagation in plants with the help of roots, stem, and leaves. Majority of them is by stem. All of you understood this properly? All the different methods of asexual reproduction in every type of organism is done. So we have discussed about asexual reproduction right from unicellular organisms, in which we have seen fission and budding. Two types of fission, that is binary and multiple. And we have seen asexual reproduction in multicellular organisms, where again we have seen budding in Hydra, spore formation in fungi, okay, fragmentation in animals, organisms like yeast, Spirogyra, and then we have seen all the types of vegetative propagation. So all the methods of asexual reproduction we have completed today. Okay, now what remains in the lesson is sexual reproduction. So we will talk about sexual reproduction in plants first, followed by sexual reproduction in human beings. That will be the end of the lesson. Got it, everyone? Today's part is clear. We will, okay. So